It's Wednesday, August 16th, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, it's Otakon. Let's do this.
Well, tonight is a very special Geek Nights because tonight is Otakon.
No, it's not. Otakon was 2 weekends ago.
Well, we're going to go back in time and relive Otakon 2006.
Holy crap.
Well, we're now crammed to an elevator with, you're going to Otakon, I assume.
Yeah, we are.
So, have you ever been to Otakon before?
Yeah, first time.
Also, one, you might notice, as you may have noticed all week, that I sound slightly different from usual. It is again because I do not have a pop filter. Someone stole it, or more likely, I lost it at Otakon.
Well, how much did it cost?
It cost 5 cents plus 1/5 of a pair of $2 pantyhose.
That's not much.
Yeah, but I gotta go out and get a new pantyhose and a new embroidery loop.
Maybe we'll just buy some.
Pop filters are like $20. I am making a new one.
Yeah, okay, maybe. That's a good idea.
Yeah, unless a microphone I get that's good comes with one.
That would be good.
Anyway, now, I said it's a special Geek Nights, partly because we're going to break from tradition a bit, and tonight we're just going to talk about Otakon. No news, no things of the day.
It doesn't matter because all the things of the day I have in waiting are video game related.
Yes.
And all my news is crap. There's no good news.
And
today.
also, you can basically consider everything we say today to be a thing of the day.
Yeah, and if you really want some anime news, I mean, I was probably just going to read something from Anime News Network, so just go read that website, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, now don't be worried. Starting tomorrow, we're going to go right back to the usual schedule with the news, the things of the day, the meta bits, all that stuff. We're doing this partly because Otakon episodes tend to be long, and two, because many times a lot of the people who will listen to this episode will only listen to this episode because a lot of people from Otakon are probably listening right now.
Yeah, and also it takes a long time to sum up 4 days of activities into less than 2 hours, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see if we even finish this.
Yeah, if we add news and things of the day, it's going to be even longer. So let's get right into it.
Yep, so without further ado, we left for Otakon 2006 at what, 7, 8 in the morning?
That's about right, yeah.
Every year we try to get there by noon on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a 4-day event for us.
And, well, it was a pretty good drive, except for the fact that there were 4 people in my car, which is fine. 4 people can fit in my car. But
yep, it was myself.
4 people's worth of luggage does not fit in my car.
Well, it mostly fit.
It mostly fit, but I couldn't see that well out the back window.
Yeah. You know what? I once drove like 800 miles with my car so full of stuff I couldn't even see out the right side of my windshield.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Anyway.
And by awesome, I mean not so much.
There were a lot of cops on the road.
Yeah, I think there were more cops, however, in Delaware, the state we were in the least, than in all the other states combined.
Well, actually, we were in percentage of the state. We were in most of Delaware.
As far as I can tell, every single police officer in the state of Delaware was on the road we were on trying to pull us over.
Well, yeah, I-95, it's like you get a million. No one, like 90% of the people driving through Delaware on I-95 are not stopping in Delaware unless they want to buy something that's 0% sales tax. And, they're from another state that is not Delaware.
Therefore, Delaware wants money.
It's basically a bunch of cops lined up in Delaware ready to steal money from the other states. And Jersey and Maryland were not light on police activity either.
Yeah, in fact, Baltimore has bit by bit been getting worse in this, that there are pretty much red light cameras at almost every major intersection in the Inner Harbor now.
Don't run red lights in Baltimore.
Yeah, and when I say don't run red lights, I mean don't run green lights, because the lights basically go green, 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 yellow, red!
Mm-hmm.
And there's no... it's such a scam, but that is a topic for another day.
We got to Otakon without incident, and we parked the car.
Katsu has finally joined the front row crew. How long did it take you to get here?
Several hours. I got held up because of traffic accidents.
Did you kill anyone?
No.
Do you
Felt like it.
Do you plan to?
Maybe.
Yep, and now the options in parking are basically park expensively at our hotel or park cheaply a block away. And you know what? We're lazy and we have money, so we park at the hotel.
Yeah, it's weird because theoretically, if you read the sign, my understanding is that to park at the hotel is $21 a day. Isn't that the way you read the sign?
Yes, in fact, that is exactly what the sign says.
And I think a year ago at Otakon 2005, we scammed them by forgetting the ticket, and we paid like $20.
Well, the guy said $20, and I said, okay, and then he let us go.
Yep. This year, I handed them the ticket because we were just so tired we didn't even want to try the scam.
Also, we couldn't talk. There's no way we could scam people when we couldn't talk.
Exactly. So
Like, literally, we couldn't talk. The only person in the car who could actually speak was Yuko, and she was not about to help us scam someone.
yeah, I handed them the ticket, and they asked for $21. So, and the ticket said I was there since Thursday. So hey,
Now, it's not just that we're misreading all the policies or signs, because 2 years ago and 3 years ago, we paid quite a bit of money to park there.
yes, we did. It was a lot of money.
So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but you know what? Park at your hotel's parking lot if you stay in the Renaissance.
Yes, parking under the Renaissance is a good place to park, and it's a nice lot. I mean, if you go to the very bottom level of the lot, there's a bunch of spaces, and you're pretty close to an elevator, and there's some guys down there who wash your car if you pay them, which is cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so then, we hung out. Eventually, the entire front row crew gathered.
And we had a little pool party.
Yep, in fact, we took over the entire pool.
Yep. And the worst part was that we wanted to use the hot tub, but we couldn't use it as much as last year because if too many people get into the hot tub, the water is displaced and it covers the air intakes with water, and then the jets stop working.
Pete alone could pretty much make the jet stop working.
Yeah, so not too many people could go in there, and a lot of non-front row crew people were in there, so
However, there were
Yeah.
more front row crew people than other kinds of people in the pool that night.
that is correct.
We were one massive, massive nest of people who can't see without their glasses.
And there weren't a bunch of screaming kids in there, so that
God, last year.
was cool. And, of course, but right before the pool party, we were in line to get badges,
Yep.
which we do need because they are not stinking.
Now, before we go any further, I would like to note that throughout this episode, I'm going to be tossing in relevant interviews and audio from the convention.
Coolness.
But anyway, on Thursday, the temperature in Baltimore with the heat index was, 105?
It was officially too damn hot degrees out.
Good God, was it hot. Now, despite this,
Woman, it is motherfucking hot.
not only did people wait in line since some god-awful hour, but there were people cosplaying in the sun in line.
There were not many, but they were there.
All right, I'm here in the 100-degree plus weather outside of Otakon for people trying to get in for their pre-registration on Thursday. Now, what's your name?
Lindsay Kipper.
And who are you dressed up as?
Actually, this is part of my costume. I'm actually going to go as a Shinsengumi member.
Ooh. Now, Shinsengumi from any particular anime or just the idea?
From Rurouni Kenshin.
Beautiful. Now, you're wearing right now a full, heavy-looking black outfit. Is it actually that heavy?
No, not really. Actually, the sleeves are pretty airy, so...
So, how you making out in this heat?
I'm actually doing surprisingly well, but it wouldn't hurt to have a water bottle right now.
So, is this your first Otakon?
No, actually, I've been here several times before, coming for my 5th year now.
So, we're here in the pre-reg line for Otakon Thursday night. Now, what's your name?
Paul,
And you're currently cosplaying as...
Green Shy Guy.
Now, what do you think the temperature is right now?
Oh, I'd say it's about 95, 97.
How are you doing this? I would die. I'm dying now, and I'm wearing shorts.
Oh, the mask makes it very hot, I must say.
I noticed the mask is not on right now.
Oh, no, I was walking down the entire line with it on, and I was just sweating the entire time.
So you're aware how long the line is in front of you, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
How long have you been here in line?
About 20, 25 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, not really.
All right, so then one last question. This is your first Otakon? You been here before?
I was here last year, actually.
So you think this is going to be better, worse?
I can't tell right now.
Be warmer, at least.
Oh, well, yeah.
Now, luckily, Otakon did something very nice, that the line was very long and there were a lot of people there. So, well before they were scheduled to let people in to get registrations, they opened the doors and brought much of the line into the, well, not much because the line was massive, but as many people as they could into the air conditioning.
Yeah. I mean, there were some people there who waited since like the crack of dawn and way earlier than they possibly needed to wait, which is kind of sad because when did we get in the line? I mean, the line was open at 5, right?
Yep, we
It
waited.
was 5 to 9. I
We
think.
waited till about 6:15, and by then the line was moving steadily.
Yeah, I mean, at 6:15, we got in the line, and we were physically like maybe I don't know, a football field from the door.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, and the line just moved so fast that within, I'd say, less than a half hour, we had our badges. So the people who get and wait in that Thursday line way at the front, what are you thinking? I mean, seriously.
I'm here with two lovely ladies who have just gotten their pre-registrations. Now, how long did you have to stand in line to get it this early?
Forever. I got here at like 2, and she was here at like
I got here
1.
around 10 o'clock.
Did you get in line at 2, or did you?
Yeah.
I got in line around 10 o'clock.
Wow.
She saved my spot, and I just cut.
Were there people already in line when you got here?
There weren't too many. It was a long...
Wait, there weren't too many. It means there were people in line.
There were people in line. The first person got in around 3 or 5 a.m., I think.
So how are you dealing with the weather? It's a little warm, I've noticed.
Yeah.
We had to set up like a
Tent.
fort outside the convention center just to keep us from the heat while we were waiting. It's pretty bad.
We had like umbrellas and like sheet taped to a wall and like chairs just to create shade.
So is this your first Otakon, or have you been to them before?
This will be my 4th year.
Excellent.
This is,
Your 5th
I'm not sure. I've been coming since 2001. I can't count though. Just go by that.
All right, fantastic. So I guess here's a question. What do you think about the musical act they're going to have this year?
I'm excited, but I was a little disappointed that they were holding it so far off site.
True, but at the same token, it's an actual concert arena.
Yes, that's true, but we might opt to
I
skip
like
it
the
this year.
guests, and I'm excited that they were able to bring them in, but I don't like the way Otakon is handling the concert situation. The fact that I cosplay, I don't want to keep on changing in and out of costumes to go there.
Yeah.
Ah, true.
Tickets at 8:30 in the morning, and it's 2 separate concerts.
It's a big inconvenience. I mean, if you really like them, it's worth it, but...
I don't like them enough to do that.
Exactly.
So are you guys going to be cosplaying this weekend? What are you cosplaying as, very briefly?
Pyoko from DigiCharette.
Emmy Tan from the OS Town Girls.
But yes, we avoided all that. I mean, we brought our DSs and didn't even really have a chance to play them in the line.
Nope, not at all. In fact, the only things we did in the line were enjoy the cosplays that went running by, like Little Mac.
Oh my god. Yes, that was one of the best cosplays I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think there's pictures of it on the Flickr.
Yeah, it was a guy dressed exactly like Little Mac from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yep.
Now, when I say exactly, I mean exactly. He had a pixel face over his face that was so well done and well positioned that if you zoom in on a picture of him, no matter how far you zoom in, it just looks exactly like Little Mac.
Yep. It was perfect. And there was a guy running in front of him with, the bicycle, or I think I had a scooter instead of a bicycle. But he had a little boombox playing. Do 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 do
Do, 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 do.
Yep. And it was so cool.
Punch out. Yeah, we're gonna mention the cosplays we saw off and on, but rest assured there were many, many, many amazing cosplays.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm here with a dude dressed up as Dr. McNinja. Now, I take it you read the comic?
Oh, yes, I have.
Now, when did you decide to do this cosplay?
When I found out I had a lab coat in my closet.
How long have you been reading Dr. McNinja?
Oh, for about 5 months now. It's like how long it's been out.
All right, are there any other webcomics you read? I'm just curious.
Excuse me?
Yeah, what other webcomics do you read?
Oh, VG Cats, Penny Arcade, Perry Bible Fellowship. Yes! This comic sucks. And 8-Bit Theater.
All right. So I guess one question. How's Otakon going this year? I mean, you're cosplaying now. It's hot outside. How's the con going?
It's going pretty good so far. This is actually my first time at Otakon.
Really? Have you been to the dealer's room yet?
I saw the line back there, and I'm not trying to go on that line.
Do you have any idea how big it is?
I seen it on a brochure, but yeah, that's it.
So this is your first Otakon. Is this your first anime con, or?
No, I've been to the Big Apple Anime Fest, which kind of closed down before. Yeah.
What was the first anime you ever saw that you knew was anime?
That's going to have to be Akira.
All right. What was the first anime ever?
Ever? ever would probably be Akira also.
Like the first one ever made.
First one ever made? Gigantor?
That's a better guess than some people have had.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday was mostly a front row crew pool party.
It was a pool party, and it was a nighttime party, and it was a line to get badges. No, the badges. Usually at Otakon, they have a whole bunch of different badges to choose from with art from different anime. And, usually, there's a cute one, and there's a girly one,
And
there's
a Gundam one.
and a robot one.
An almost yaoi one.
Yeah, and usually they have to do with newer shows and popular shows of the time, and sometimes an obscure show. This year, the selection for badges was ass.
I mean, I am not one to complain about Otakon. I consider Otakon to be the greatest anime convention I've ever been to. But good God, were the badges crap.
I mean, a lot of them were new shows, which, okay.
Well, here's the problem.
That's
they
cool.
They were new shows, and I'm making quote marks with my fingers, because they're the shows that are currently being released on DVD or on TV in the U.S.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now the problem with this is that the shows that are currently coming out in the U.S. are from earlier in the year and last year in Japan, and that was a drought for us anime-wise, and there wasn't that much really good to watch.
My real problem was that it's okay if you use shows that are currently being released in the U.S., but you should, try to cover at least one from each major genre of anime. I mean, I chose the Speedgrapher one, which is not a show that's really worth finishing. I mean, you could just watch a few episodes of that show and you're done.
Did we review Speedgrapher?
No, but it's one of the only shows that I actually recognize.
Yeah, I kind of figured what a couple of the shows are. I picked a random badge this year.
Yeah, weird.
Now, the other thing was that, every year, forever, whenever we saw the badge selection, it was always, ooh, and there was a big debate like, oh, check it out, they got that, and they got that, or, oh, there's an Escaflowne one, or, oh, my. This year, everyone went, huh. And we all looked at each other to make sure that we were all seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they have twice as many badges this year. Is there another board I need to look at or something?
Though at least there are a bunch of explanations for what happened, and hopefully we'll talk to some Otakon staff and get some more official answers. But I've heard that, one, the industry pretty much decides what the badges are because they are the ones who give... Well, the thing is, they're the ones who give permission. You can't just use anime on a badge.
Yeah, I know.
So, generally, from what I gather, Otakon will tell the industry, hey, we need badges, send us art, and we'll pick some things. And I heard that, one, the industry sent the badges that they want, or they've sent the anime that they want to promote, which sadly is not the anime I care about, but that is understandable. Two, apparently they did not send most of their art in the proper format for Otakon to use. Thus, Otakon was forced to ignore most of the submissions.
Yeah, Otakon really, whoever does the badges should get on the industry earlier and be like, these are the badges we want. Send us art for these shows. We need at least one robot show, one shonen fighting show, one shoujo drama, one kiddie show, one cutesy show, one crazy comedy. That's what they need.
Someone in the Otakon forum said there should be a policy that every year there is one Gundam or giant robot fashioned badge.
Yes, that way, no matter what, I can default to the robot badge.
Now, the most telling sign that the badges really were kind of mad this year was that the one badge that everyone recognized was the Hellsing badge. That badge ran out almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
other
reports
badges were all plentiful.
Yep. And honestly, throughout the whole con, I had no idea what my badge was until someone told me.
Isn't it Trinity Blood?
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of that show. I say it's crap. But that's a quick review right there.
Yep. Now, the other problem here is that we're watching pretty much what's on TV in Japan right now. Now, if there had been a Nana badge...
I would have snatched that up.
Good God, there should have been a Nana badge.
There should have been. It should have been... in fact, there should have been two Nana badges. A serious one and kind of a goofy one.
You know what? I would have been happy if they made all the badges Nana.
Yeah, all right. Let's stop spending so much time talking about the badges.
Well, the badges are one of our few complaints about Otakon. So
they are one of the few complaints.
Now, I will note in other general con stuff that the Otakon con book was full color.
Maybe there's something going on with the full color publishing.
Because first Kineticon was, book is full color and it was super cheap, and now suddenly Otakon's is full color.
It does look like it's from the same printing company. Can we find out what company prints these things?
Probably. I didn't look into that at all.
Yeah, looking for like a publisher or a printer on here, but I can't find one at all.
Now, the other thing they've done with the con book this year is that the book had very little in the way of Otakon scheduling stuff or stuff about Otakon, and it was mostly articles written by people.
Yeah, it also had fewer ads. I mean, it still has ads, but it had fewer ads than previous years. Usually the Otakon con book is just loaded with ads. This year, not so many.
It was pretty much just straight up informative,
Mhm.
and then a whole bunch of fairly interesting articles about the con, or about anime, or about Japanese films in general.
Yeah, which I thought was cool. I mean, I think last year wasn't there was an article about the Philippine
Yeah, every year there was
thing,
an
live
article.
action stuff, and
or
then
two.
that's what they showed in the live action room was a lot of Filipino live action.
Just this year,
movies.
the sheer number of well-written articles.
I think there were 3 of them. They were pretty big too.
Yeah. Also, in previous years, you'd usually see people walking around with the con book and their little pocket schedule. This year, I did not see a single person who hadn't just registered walking around with the con book. They all carried around the new format pocket schedule.
Oh, the new pocket schedule is the bomb.
I had the only gripe at all I had with it
Is that you can't get Saturday folded correctly.
exactly that the main crease, the biggest crease in the entire thing, goes right through the middle of Saturday.
Yes. This is perfect. This is 1,000 times better than the previous Otakon thing. In fact, every convention should have something just like this. However, you need to have the folds match the days so that someone can easily go bam Friday, bam Saturday, bam Sunday without unfurling a giant piece of paper.
Now, the other thing is that it was very, very large, and while it folded easily like a map, I know some people had some difficulty refolding it.
Yeah,
one,
that's
that
just
means-
people who don't know how to fold.
But 2, the easy way to mitigate that, I mean, this thing was huge, and it had not only the schedules, but all of the con information, including descriptions of all the panels and
And
showings.
descriptions of all the panels and all the showings, which is terrific.
If they had to, though, they could have gotten rid of the descriptions of the panels and showings.
Yeah,
but
they could have put those in the con book. I mean, it was handy to have them there, but I didn't really need them at the con. You know, I could have looked those up in my hotel room.
true, but we're the kind of people who do a lot of research ahead of time, and
Yeah.
I know other people don't.
It is true. Yeah, it doesn't matter where those things are as long as they are available, you know. But definitely in this thing, it was handy to have the schedule printed in an easier to read format, not with those oval things. And also the hours of operation were printed nicely on one of the sides. However, there was a little bit of confusion. It said where they printed, what did it say? It said like Sunday 1 p.m. to close. You shouldn't do that. You need a time there. But that's a tiny ass complaint if I ever seen one.
Now, as for the con in general, it had slightly over 22,000 people this year.
It's like 300 more people than last year, which is
great.
essentially nothing.
That means no one was turned away.
Yep, no one was turned away. But also, Otakon isn't growing as rapidly as it was before. I mean, they grew by 1%.
Yep, but then again, there could be a lot of reasons for that. I mean, having a limit on the con at all is a certainly chilling factor for people who may or may not be sure if they're going to go. The fact that they've gotten rid of group discounts, the fact that they've gotten rid of one-day passes probably really cut down the attendance.
The lack of one-day passes probably did kill a lot of
The thing is,
registrations.
I think the lack of one-day passes is fine.
I
because-
do think it's fine. Especially at a convention so large, I think you're perfectly justified in doing that.
Yes, I mean, they've saved so much time and money and effort, and people who want to be there for 3 days have such a bigger advantage now in terms of actually enjoying the con.
I do still think that to appease the dealers, that they should have some sort of Sunday dealer room pass, you know, where you can go to the dealer's room and not do anything else.
Yeah, I suggested that last year, too, and the main reason
There might be a slight logistical problem with it, though.
Well, the main reason they don't is that the reason they got rid of day passes primarily was because it's a nightmare for the security people to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, they'd have to keep all of the stuff they use to differentiate in place to have Sunday things.
Yep.
In addition to that, now they have to worry about the fire code on Sunday instead of just knowing that there aren't enough badges to break the fire code.
Yeah, see, the solution that I would come up with is one that no one would probably agree with who actually has to work at the con, but would be to have a special after-hours dealer's room open only. You know, so like at like 2 or 3, you close the dealer's room except to a bunch of people who paid for dealer's room only. you know?
Yeah, but the logistical concerns of that are insane.
Yes, they are. Or like maybe open the dealer's room on, for like certain hours before it really opens on Friday. I don't know.
I say just don't worry about it. There's no
Yeah.
reason to change something that works so well.
Yep.
Now, in terms of staff, despite the fact that there were more people at Otakon, there were fewer staff, and I have to say it was noticeable.
Yes, it was. I don't know. It could have been just that the staff shirts didn't stand out as much, but I'm fairly confident that there were much fewer staff at Otakon this year.
And according to the official statistics, there were less staff.
Okay, and you can't really blame Otakon that much. I mean, you can put a little blame on them for having less staff because it did hurt the con noticeably that there were not enough staff. And they could have done more to recruit more staff. But at the same time, you got to blame the fans because the staff are all fan volunteers. So people aren't volunteering enough time to Otakon, and they should get on that.
Yep. Well, then again, I mean, our friend Scott Johnson just joined the staff.
Yep.
So we're all getting in on that action.
Yep. So we're not shit talkers. Is that what you're saying?
Something like that.
Yeah. So you should, if you think Otakon needs more staff, don't complain about it unless you are signing up to be staff.
Yep. I mean, when we did our critique of Kineticon a while back, the first thing the Kineticon staff told to us was, people like you need to join the staff, basically.
Yep. It's like if you complain about a con not having enough staff or having shitty staff, and you don't join the staff or attempt to join the staff of that convention, you can shut up.
Yep.
And that's all I got to say about that.
But despite the lower number of staff, the con went very smoothly. I don't think there were any major events other than people passing out from the heat.
Yep. I mean, there were some incidents that were beyond our vision, probably behind the scenes.
Yes, there was one anonymous staffers explained to me that something happened with the staff whereupon there was they kept calling it a crisis, and I don't know exactly what happened, but a number of staff were laid up dealing with some sort of problem Saturday afternoon.
Ah, whatever.
I think it was an internal matter, and I don't know anything more than that because everyone was very anonymous and very vague about it.
Yeah, the only thing that got me about Otakon staff was I think we were in the panel room once, right? And, in the panel room is the cool panel guy. What's his name? Dragon Master Waloo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was sitting there, and this other staffer, pretty high-level staffer, because they're high-level staffer when they have a radio.
Not necessarily.
No, not necessarily, but...
I mean, at Katsucon, they give the Gophers radios.
Oh, wow. But yeah, anyway, he comes in and he introduces himself to the other guy, and it's like, okay, two high-level staff never met each other. Maybe they should do Otakon should have at least some sort of coordination meeting before the con.
Well, no, the reason that happens is that Otakon is very delegated and compartmentalized.
It is, but still, you should, get to know the other people that you have to work with, because...
There's no way. There's 500 staffers.
That's cool.
And most of them don't live anywhere near Baltimore. Most cons...
At least the highest level people.
Yeah, and the highest level people do know each other for the most part.
Still.
It's
kind of weird that,
Scott, I point out that a radio does not mean high-level staff.
True.
You know what means high-level staff? If they always look busy, they're not dealing with crowds, they're listening to a microphone stoically, or they're listening to a headphone stoically, and then they suddenly disappear. That is a high-level staffer.
Anyway, what else went down?
I mean, there were no major issues that I'm aware of, and the con was generally well run.
I think the only other real problem with the con was that there were lines for certain events that caused slight trouble, and more staff could have made that smoother, and possibly some sort of system that someone could have come up with might help it. I think all they really need to do is make the people do the swirly lines around some tape on the floor.
Oh no, there are easier ways than that. I mean, Animazement has a no-line policy where you're not allowed to stand in line. And I don't really want to talk about it in great detail because that would really take away from all the Otakon coverage.
All I'm saying is that there were events that were incredibly popular and long lines formed for certain panels and showings, and that there could be a system in place to prevent the trouble that is caused by that.
Well, here's the
phenomenon.
problem here. Most of those lines were completely unwarranted.
Yep.
Because other than panels that have a limited number of people who can get in, there was absolutely no reason to line up for the dealer's room or to line up to get into the artist alley.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the dealer's room line Friday morning.
All right, so and then we'll skip a bit in our list here.
Okay.
But yeah, Friday morning, the dealer's room opened actually in the afternoon. It opened late.
Yeah, let's see. When do the official hours say it opens? Dealer's room on Friday opens at noon.
Now,
and it closes at 8 p.m., so it stays open later than any other day on Friday.
people lined up the moment the con opened. In fact, before the con opened, a line that had at least 1,000 people in it formed outside the con trying to get into the main entrance.
Yep.
Now, these people were all stupid because we walked right up to any of the other entrances and walked right in because as every piece of literature about Otakon says, at the moment the con opens, any member with a badge can go in any door.
Now, there was a couple doors where they were preventing us from getting in despite our badge possessions, and that was ass.
No, that made perfect sense because those specific doors, and there were only 3 of them, empty directly into places where people line up. They also are right near registration and right in the midst.
Well, the one near registration, I'm talking about the ones down in the tunnel area.
Yeah, those were surrounded by the line for registration. There are a great number of people without badges in a massive mob right outside all of those doors, and those doors go directly into lines.
It's all right.
They had good reasons for that, and every other door was open.
Yep.
But despite this, at least 1,000 people lined up stupidly to get in, and we told a few people, you didn't have to stand in that line, and they didn't believe us.
Yeah. Oh, well. Anyway.
But the dealer's room, too, people lined up immediately and sat there for at least 4 hours before they could get in.
Yeah, it's like, what do you think? I mean, if you're going to wait in line to go to the dealer's room, the line should be like at the last hour the dealer's room is open on Sunday, because that's when they start giving the shit away at, rock bottom prices. And nowadays, you can just walk in and get a cactar anytime you want. The tonberries are plentiful these days.
Yeah, there was nothing rare at the con at all.
There are no rare things that are going to sell out that you can't get. So what the hell is the point of going into the dealer's room right away?
The best part is, I didn't record this. Well, I recorded this interview, but it came out kind of crappy because the people I talked to were kind of shy and quiet. Or the other people I talked to were really loud but far away, and it didn't work. But of all the people who were sitting pretty much right near the front of the line to get into the dealer's room, meaning they had been sitting there for about 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. Because the con opens at 8 and the dealer's room opens at noon. Why would you sit there for 4 hours when, for the majority of the con, you can just walk into the dealer's room with no line at all?
Now, I asked them this, like, are you here to get anything specific? Why are you waiting for the dealer's room? What's the special thing you think's going to sell out? And no one had anything. They just wanted to go into the dealer's room, and they really didn't have any reason. Like, I tried to ask them, is there just nothing to do? You don't have any panels to go to till later? They didn't really have any answer for me.
I guess they're just consumer whores.
I really didn't get it. I couldn't get out of these people why they were in line for the dealer's room. A few people didn't know that it didn't open until noon, and they got out of line when they found out from me while I interviewed them.
Those people were intelligent yet ignorant.
There was also a large group of people just playing DSs and drawing penises on PictoChat in the line, so they were doing something.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if all you wanted to do was play DS because nothing else was interesting, the line was a great place to go.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of people with DSs ready to play.
I felt bad for the staffer who had to deal with that stupid line.
What they should do is they should just say there is no dealer's room line, or, maybe find a way to open the dealer's room when the con opens on Friday. I know that'd be hard, but...
No, I can see a lot of very good reasons why they wanted the dealer's room to open late. Because the dealer's room being open when the con opens, that's the first thing most people go to. And as a result, any panels that are Friday morning get completely decimated.
I guess. But maybe
really
delay it by an hour instead of 4 hours.
I think the way it was fine. Just don't let people line up for it.
Yeah.
Of course, then again, you know what? Let people line up for it, because that keeps people who aren't the brightest bulbs out of everyone else's way Friday morning.
Maybe they should... the thing was that the line for that dealer's room, right? It was directed in the building and then out, towards the escalator area. Maybe they have directed it out the tunnel to the street.
They couldn't, because out that tunnel was the registration line.
Yeah, but if they bent the registration line towards the baseball park...
No, because you can't line up outside of the convention center grounds. Remember what happened during the, or before the Laraku concert 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When the state police came?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They handled it the best they could, other than not letting people line up. I can think of a whole bunch of ways to solve the line problems, but I think we'll talk about that more when we try to interview some of the staffers in the coming weeks.
Okay. So,
All right, let's go to the Geeknights meetup.
hooray, we had a Geeknights meetup out in the patio. A few people showed up.
Yep, and rather than talk about it right away, I'll just play the things that they said.
Cool.
Awesome. My name is Kyle. If you're on the forums, my name is Fantastos. My sister Lindsay is here with me.
Hey.
She is on neither, but she's been listening to a whole lot of episodes.
All right, so here's the basic rundown. What is your favorite anime ever?
Favorite anime ever? I want to say Bebop, but everybody says Bebop, and so I'm going to go with FLCL.
All right, what do you think is the best anime ever done, objectively?
Objectively Bebop.
All right, awesome. What was the first anime you ever saw?
Do we count Voltron?
All right, Voltron counts, but after Voltron.
Voltron, when I was a little kid, I had all the little lions that connected together, and it was awesome.
What was the first anime you saw that you knew was anime?
I knew it was anime. That would have to be Gundam Wing.
Ah, all right.
Year 2000, Adult Swim, stayed up every night.
What was the first anime?
The first anime?
The first anime ever made?
Holy crap. Yeah, I know.
Name any director of an anime.
Aside from Miyazaki?
Aside from Miyazaki.
Miyazaki. Koike. Katsu Koike. Haven't seen any of his stuff, but I know of him.
Have you listened to Anime World Order?
I have listened to Anime World Order.
What do you think of Anime World Order? Because they're here, and we're going to make fun of them like we always do.
I like Anime World Order. I haven't seen a whole lot of the stuff that they've seen, but they're introducing me to new things every day.
Have you ever seen MD Geist?
No.
Did you hear their review of MD Geist?
I did.
Did it make you want to see MD Geist?
Not ever.
Good.
Did you know what MD Geist was before? I did not, except that it was the second worst anime ever. I've heard that said. I didn't know any details. The little, hateful self of me kind of wants to see it, just because you gotta see it.
So this is your first con, too.
Yeah.
Now, what was your first anime?
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball because of him.
No, it was Dragon Ball Z.
Was it?
That was Dragon Ball Z back
Oh, I was about to say Dragon Ball. That's cool, but no.
Well, you know what? I grew up on him watching something on TV, and I'm sitting there trying to get the remote. So, yeah.
So it kind of grew on you over time?
Eventually, yes.
What's your favorite anime? Name a couple that are really good. Either old ones or ones you're watching right now.
Well, because I've really gotten anime lately, I like Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. I like Full Metal Alchemist just because, and I liked Fruits Basket, but those are my, yeah.
Now, you watch the anime. Do you read the manga?
Not really. I really want to. I'm about to start buying.
Hey guys, this is Bolt Matrix from the forums. I'm in Baltimore. I live here, and you know what? If you're not here, you suck.
So, what was your first anime? The first one you ever saw that you knew was anime?
Speed Racer.
Wow. What was the first anime ever made?
That would have been Tetsuzen Astro Boy.
Can you name any directors of anime?
Other
than Miyazaki.
Other than Miyazaki? Oh god, the scary thing is I can't pronounce his name.
Try it. I think we'll know who it is.
No, you don't want me to.
Ikuhara?
No, I'm thinking of the guy that did Robotech, and I can't come up with his name. But there's also the guy that did, oh, fuck me.
You're done. What are you watching right now?
I am watching Erica 7, XX Holic. Oh, fuck. I am watching Bleach, but in fast forward. Ultawara Maru.
So what's your favorite anime, give or take?
Transformers, without a doubt.
That was not the answer I expected. That's awesome. What do you think of the new Transformers movie?
I am totally stoked. My podcast is the only Transformers podcast, but I won't plug it if you don't want me to.
Plug your freaking podcast. Goddamn.
TFWire.com, TFWIRE. We're the only Transformers podcast out there. I'm actually going to be asking you questions about it to help us improve.
Now, do you listen to Anime World Order?
I listen to it religiously.
Did you hear their MD Geist review?
I laughed my balls off.
Did you think I never want to see that show, or did you think I want to see what they're talking about?
I actually saw it many years before they said it, and I was sitting there going, yeah. Yeah.
And I got to say, the fans of Geeknights who actually hung out with us at Otakon were the people who I had kind of picked out in the forums over the course of, the last many months as people who are generally agreeable to me.
So, Peter, how's Otakon treating you so far?
Slayer!
You have anything you'd like to say to our listeners out there?
Slayer!
What are you going to eat for dinner tonight?
Slayer?
Yeah, there are some other people in the forum who are agreeable to me that, did not show up, but the people who did show up were generally awesome.
We're not going to give you the list of people, but suffice to say, there's a group of about 5 or 6 people in the forums outside of the actual front row crew who Scott and I have found we can count on to say the kinds of things we would say even when we're not there.
Yep.
We actually haven't been there much lately due to being busy with life.
Yep. Okay, let's talk about what was in the dealer's room.
Oh, you don't want to talk about the meetup?
What else? Is there more to say about it? I mean, we played audio of it, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, we also hung out with the Anime World Order people, Gerald and Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
Some things happened that we'll talk about.
We'll talk about that.
And also, I'd like to give a plug for next week, probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I'm not exactly sure yet. But we recorded 2 separate long roundtables that we used the real equipment instead of that crappy recording bit. One with a whole bunch of webcomic artists, including the guy who does Dominic Deegan, Seer for Hire, Instant Classic, the guy who does that, and Ido, who does Fallen, and a few other people.
Yeah, I promised that a week from tomorrow we would do the What is the Front Row Crew episode.
All right.
So I guess the next 2 Wednesdays are going to be recordings from Otakon. One involving webcomics and one involving clown pistols.
And in addition to that roundtable, we recorded a kind of late-night, half-drunken, us talking about anime and anime cons thing with Anime World Order, Ninja Consultant, and Fast Karate for the Gentlemen.
Fast Karate.
Yeah.
Not slow karate. Fast karate.
Now, once again, I have things to say about that roundtable, which I think I'm going to play a short clip from tonight, but the whole thing will be available at some point next week.
Yeah, maybe I figure we would do that a week from today, or 2 weeks from today.
True, but I might play the relevant clip from it tonight.
I think that's a good idea. All right. So, in the dealer's room. It was a dealer's room.
Yep, it was massive as always.
The industry area was kind of sparse. I mean, Bandai wasn't there, and Viz wasn't there, and those were my big places. That's where I go. Viz has the bags, and Bandai has the robots, and they were not there.
In fact, there was almost no free stuff this year.
Yeah, I mean...
Now, the thing is, no con has had free stuff for a while.
I don't know what's up with that.
Well, I don't think the industry's doing so well.
But here's the thing. If you go to all the panels, a lot of the industry panels, in fact, pretty much all the industry panels, what they did is they would do trivia and free stuff. That's the big thing at panels now is trivia and then giving away DVDs. But they're not giving away, the free goodies in the dealer's room. The Artist Alley is still giving away free goodies, but not the dealers. And not the industry. What the hell?
Now, in terms of what we bought, I mean, the dealer's room was impressive as far as Otakon dealers' rooms go.
It's big, but they didn't fill the dealer's room, but they did have more dealers than last year.
Yep.
Oh, well.
I didn't buy much just because I bought everything I wanted to buy this year at Anime Next and to an extent Kineticon.
I mean, I pretty much bought anything I wanted there, and there wasn't that much that I wanted that I didn't already have.
I kind of wanted the Death Note box thing. I just didn't get around to buying it.
Yeah, it's just too much money. It's I wanted the original Galaxy Express 39 movie poster, but for $30, you can keep it.
Yeah. But almost the entire front row crew each bought the Giant Robo box set.
Yeah, they were selling all of Giant Robo.
The Eye of Vogler.
And this plastic eyeball for, I think, $30, but another guy had it for $25, and another guy had a used one that was beat up for $10.
Yep. And at least 7 of us bought it.
Yep, and Buy Right DVD, who is the ultimate seller of cheap DVDs, those are the guys who sold the $5 DVDs and everything. You can buy from their website, but then you have to make a minimum order of a whole mess of DVDs. But if you see them at a con, you can buy just one DVD for $5. They were selling, among many other very cheap box sets, the Zeta Gundam box set, which comes with a ton of shit in it.
Yeah, didn't it come with 12 pencil sharpeners?
Yeah, it came with 12 robot pencil sharpeners, which are much more robot than pencil sharpener. I don't know why they even put the pencil sharpeners in there, because they're just robot toys.
I think to a specific scene from
Yeah.
Family Guy.
They were selling this box set for $40. Now this was like supposed to be a $200 box set. Now $40, 50 episodes plus swag. That's less than $1 an episode and free swag.
Now, wasn't it the one with the broken subtitles?
Yeah, there are a few problems with the release. I mean, it's not a perfect, amazing release. However, Zeta Gundam is probably, as far as I've been told, I'm going to watch it to find out, the Gundam series, period. Like, the best one. And this is the U.S. release. It's what, and it's watchable. I mean, it's not the worst ever.
Yep, we'll see when I watch it, because so far, much of the Gundam I've watched has been pretty bad, but I've watched, F91.
Yeah.
And Wing was actually pretty good. I kind of enjoyed Wing.
Mm-hmm.
Seed was awesome.
Yep.
G Gundam can die in a fire.
G Gundam can die in 2 fires and 1,000 fiery suns.
My favorite Gundam is still War in the Pocket.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Of course, it was typical.
Oh, no. My favorite, though, I think, right now is like the 8th MS team still. Because that one, was just the robots were more like tanks and they were just generic war machines. And it wasn't about robots at all. Gundam Seed would be my favorite, but half the show was about robots and about, crazy Gundam stuff.
Yeah. All right, now, right along with the dealer's room is the Artist's Alley, which every year is usually one of the highlights of my con experience. Now, before we talk about the Artist's Alley, I'm going to play a whole bunch of interviews done both by us and, more importantly, by our correspondents in the field, Kate and Adam, a.k.a. Art Boy.
Hi, this is Kate, correspondent for Geeknights here at Otakon 2006. I'm with Chai, otherwise known as Leanne Pesey, here for Chai Studios. Okay, Chai Studios. We are talking today about her lovely artwork. Let me tell you, the inking is amazing, and I highly recommend you check out chaistudios.com. All right, Chai, what kind of artwork do you normally do?
I do a lot of mixture of Asian-themed pieces and characters with more of a realistic feel to it. I love doing more old-school fantasy, pirate artwork, ninja artwork, the whole fun little based in history, but then taking it to a whole new extreme.
Oh, that's cool. And it looks like you use an anime type style, but not exclusively in your artwork.
Definitely not exclusive. I end up getting a lot of people who are just like, fan art!
Yeah.
So I do play around a lot with that, but I was very influenced by Japanese anime and Japanese woodblock prints growing up, so that has found a way into my style.
Oh, interesting. Do you do any etching into the woodblock yourself?
I actually do not do woodblock prints. I did do lithography for a while, and I do actually do screen printing, where I try the style of woodblocks and do it on fabrics and clothing.
Oh, cool.
My fashion design.
Have you ever thought of bringing any of that to Otakon?
I actually have not done that because a lot of people aren't quite so interested in original fashions at Oda.
Oh, really? Is that the trend, you think, or is it just price issues?
I think it's price issues when you're a freelancer. You kind of go with what is definitely price efficient and what you know will sell where you're at. So I actually bring a lot of that. I do fashion shows in the New Haven and Boston area. So I always bring that stuff to those. But I don't bring my portfolio collection of anime-themed artwork there either, because they'd be like, how is this high couture?
Yeah, that would be an issue. All right, so where are you from?
I'm actually currently located in western Massachusetts, in Ludlow, which is next to Springfield. But I was a Navy brat. I'm from everywhere.
What cons do you frequent?
Mostly the New England ones. I do Anime Boston and Otakon every year. I also do Con Bust, and I did Kineticon for the first time this past year.
And how many Otakons have you been to?
I've been here, I have been attending Otakon since 1998.
So, quite a veteran.
Yep. I only started doing Artist Alley, however, about 2 years ago.
Really?
So, it's still new for me.
And do you take commissions?
I do.
What's the strangest and or most perverted and or silliest commission request you've ever gotten?
That would be for a zombie cow pirate in chibi form.
And did you complete this commission?
I did, and I was quite amused because he informed me that the cow was also purple.
That's an odd request, I'd have to say. How much did it cost for that specific commission?
$10, because it was my chibis.
Okay. What's the most perverted request you've ever gotten?
I am Yeah, I'm doing a Wife of Venom piece right now.
Oh, that's a little strange.
Yes, it's the bathing suit is the Venom aspect from Marvel. I'm like, oh, it's very interesting, very confusing to me.
Okay. But I see you do some yaoi and some shonen ai, though that is not exclusively what you do. Do you find that sells better at cons?
It depends. People at cons are always looking for their favorite pairings that they're never going to see. And I actually have 2 pairings that from Naruto that people never really see, not even in doujinshis.
And what pairing would that be?
Kakashi and Asuma.
Ah. Yeah, so for yaoi and shonen ai fans, I think it's a really nice thing, but it's also nice that you mark it off and you give a warning, so your art is child friendly too. Just don't go into those sections.
I have large Disney stickers covering up the center bit.
Interesting. Have you ever had to draw a giant pulsating member?
No, I refuse those.
Oh, you don't do those?
I have a point where I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I think you'll be better served by the tentacle porn down the back.
So your integrity is not for sale?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Chai. I hope everyone checks out Chai Studios. That's CHISTUDIOS.com. And thank you so much for doing an interview for Geeknights. Oh, by the way, one last trivia question. What was the first anime?
I knew this once.
Astro Boy.
Oh, wow.
All right, this is Art Boy from Geeknights, and I'm here with
Mr. Troy.
Mr. Troy, who has a very interesting setup here. What are you doing here at this booth? Looks like some video games going on?
Yes, this is a game that we're working on called Dig Jetpack Attack. And when I say we, I mean Popsnot. That's this entire area right here.
Now, what kind of system are you running here? I've never seen a box like that.
This is a America Media Systems G-Box. It's a basic PC running Windows XP. I have 4 USB controllers hooked up and 2 screens, so that when you play the game, you can either fight on the top of the screen or on the bottom screen.
So it's like a dual screen action you got going there?
Yes.
All right, what kind of game is it?
It's a basic platform shooter. It's still in the early stages, so like you can't really hide behind anything, but you basically just run and shoot each other.
Cool. And you guys got a website?
Yes, we just kind of opened up a few days ago, so the website's not really done. But it's going to be popsnot.com. That's POPSKNOT.
Not as in like snot.
Not as in snot.
Right, got it. All right.
Hi, this is Kate, a correspondent for Geeknights. I'm here with Sebastian, who is selling Friends Don't Let Friends cosplay t-shirts. Hi, Sebastian.
How you doing?
I'm doing quite well. Yourself, sir?
I'm bored right now, but not doing too bad.
Yeah, and we're here at Artist Alley at Otakon 2006. How many Otakons have you been to?
This is my second one.
And did you go to the one the previous year?
Yeah, 05.
How many other cons have you been to?
I've been to Anime USA and Katsucon once this past year. So.
And for a bit of trivia, what is the first anime ever made?
I have no idea.
It's Astro Boy, yes. We have someone from the side saying Astro Boy. It is Astro Boy. Now, why do you have the hate for the cosplayers?
It's not really hate, it's a jab at everybody who takes cosplaying way too seriously.
Can you give me an example of someone who took cosplaying way too seriously?
I don't know about too seriously, but there's people who see it as a joke and who are cosplaying, and there's the people who actually get mad at us for having this shirt on sale, and I think that's the people who need to lighten up and realize cosplaying is just like a hobby, or it's not real. It's it's something to do.
It's a fantasy, yeah. What do you have to say to people who cosplay outside of their body type, i.e. incredibly fat women in skimpy clothing, or incredibly ugly hairy men in skimpy clothing, or really anyone who shouldn't be in skimpy clothing in skimpy clothing?
They need to stop, because anything that they wouldn't wear outside of a con should not be worn.
All right, this is Art Boy, your filth finder in the field. I'm currently trying to find in the fan art area who has the filthiest, most horrible fan art and try to interview them and ask them why, God, why. But I haven't found anybody yet. And most of the artists keep pointing me in different directions and saying, well, we don't know where anybody really filthy is. Like, we have some soft stuff, but nothing really terrible. So, and right now, I'm going to head over to the fan art art show and head into the adult area and see what people there have to say. Because, you know, I'm willing to go where no man has gone before. All right, this is Art Boy. I have now entered the Den of Iniquity that we know as the adult area in the Otakon art show. And so far, it's actually rather tame. There's not a hell of a lot going on in here. Hang on 1 second. All right, this is the second take. This is Art Boy, your filth finder in the field. I am currently walking through the adult art area at Otakon. I entered expecting horrible, horrible things, but really it's not that terrible. Yeah, there's not a lot of pornography around it. You're staff.
Yes, sir.
But what's your name?
Maxwell.
Maxwell. Why do you think there's such a low turnout of filth this year?
It just depends on which artists come.
And would you say this is pretty tame compared to what we've seen in the past?
This is actually my first year at con.
This is your first year at Otakon?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you know what you're missing. Yes, I think that, let's see if I can find someone who's been here before. Because I think that some of this artwork that would be considered adult really isn't. I mean, we have some Final Fantasy characters here who are really just holding towels in front of them. It's suggestive, but yeah, they're just holding towels in front of them, nothing terrible. You know, there's a Inuyasha character lounging in a bed. There's one thing that's selling for like $500 that looks like the frame cost more than the artwork. I mean, it's just sort of sad. I'm going to see if I can find anybody here who's into this kind of thing to try and interview them.
You know, sometimes if you see an artwork that's a minimum bid very high, it could just be the artist is, you know what, not for sale, put a minimum bid.
That's true. That's a good idea. So tell me, you're here in the adult area of Otakon. What brought you into this area? What were you hoping to find?
Actually, because last year they actually had a few that were pretty good, but it's only not as much as last year, I guess.
I normally like
it. Turnout from the artists.
No.
In Otakon's past, I have come in here and it has just been like a den of iniquity full of filth of all imaginable kinds.
Yeah.
Would you say this year was sort of a disappointing turnout?
Yes, a little bit. Like they're good, but last year there was just so much variety. I guess.
Were you looking for something specific this year, or just whatever tickled your fancy?
Yeah, just browsing.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna keep on looking around. Do you have anything to say about the turnout this year for the adult area here at Otakon?
I'm a little disappointed. I love hentai, and I just see one that I would really think of buying, just because it's two bondage girls.
And what do you think about these Final Fantasy ones? I mean, would you classify those as really adult?
Not really, because first of all, I don't like guy hentai. Second of all, they're not naked. I mean, the body shape is good. The artwork is definitely good, but no nudity.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's pretty tame on the nudity this year. And we even have a Rama, it looks like a Rama 1/2 inked on rice paper, on which there are no nipples and no sex going on either.
No, just she's kind of riding Rama as
sort of like a piggyback.
Yeah, piggyback.
Like a koala. All right, well, let's see if anybody else has anything to say here in the adult section. Let's see, we have a suggestive Asuka, seen that 1,000 times. And wow, there are numerous panels that are completely empty.
I know!
What are your feelings on the empty panels here?
It sucks. If they needed some, we could have drawn it.
Were you looking for anything specific? Were you hoping for anything?
Gravitation.
Gravitation?
Yeah.
Is that that's the Shunai one, right?
Yeah, well, it's Shunai, or if you're looking for Mega Mix, that's yaoi. Like, I actually have some in my bag.
Have you ever been to an Otakon adult display before?
Yeah, last year.
And what's last year's compared to this year's?
Much better. They had way more stuff.
Way more stuff?
Yeah.
Would you say that you normally find things that are also more suggestive and, if I may, more filthy here? Because I think that what I've seen coming from an art background is pretty tame.
Yeah, I'd say it's like sort of marginally, because people still like to keep it pretty. Mm-hmm. Like I find like more like more of the hardcore stuff is just like in the doujinshi. You don't really see it a lot on the walls and stuff. They had a couple hardcore pieces last year, but definitely this year it's totally flat. Like totally flat. This stuff might as well be outside.
Yeah, I mean, I see walking around here. I see it's like there's a full display that is empty. There's another full display that is mostly empty. There are a couple of framed things which aren't I'd say are more suggestive as opposed to adult. This could be like out on the tables. There are three completely empty displays, and all in all, a pretty sad showing. A pretty sad showing, and a disappointment to hentai fans everywhere, if I might go so far. All right, this has been Artboy, your filth finder in the field for Otakon 2006.
Wow, I never listened to those interviews, and you know what? I still haven't listened to them.
You know what? I didn't really listen to them either. I listened through them a little bit while I mashed the absolute hell out of them to make them not sound bad, because that Sony Recordy bit is starting to become my arch enemy.
Ram and Scott are not responsible for the content of the interviews you just listened to.
Yes, I mean, I trust Kate and Adam very much, and I'm pretty sure I skimmed through them, and it seemed like they interviewed some really interesting, funny people. And I like Adam's filth-finding mission very much.
Oh, my.
Despite the fact that he dropped and broke my Sony ICD P320.
It deserved it.
Yeah, you know what? It didn't deserve it. Sony deserved it. This is like the poor crippled kid that Sony crippled. This could have been such an awesome piece of hardware, and Sony's DRM ruined it.
Yeah.
Speaking of DRM...
As an IT professional, DRM can blow me.
Outstanding.
I agree with that. As an IT professional, I agree with that.
Yeah, God, how many of us are IT professionals or computer programmers?
Yeah.
Who's the Neil Luddite? Oh yeah, scientists. A DRM story.
Where I work, here in Baltimore, we do not allow iTunes installed because of the DRM will actually cause problems with the machine setups. Because the DRM is running in the background, and we have certain software on the machines that let us know what the fuck people are doing, and that DRM will actually cause that software that we built ourselves to go, no, God! So we've actually figured out a way around it. I can't say what it is because I want to keep my job. But we struggled for about a year with this, with the Apple DRM, and we're running into other issues now with DRM because now we're recording meetings and we're actually doing video casts. And I work for a subsidiary of a very, very, very fucking large multinational corporation, and the DRM of other products is causing problems with our in-house stuff.
That was from our Geeknights meetup. A few of our listeners and some of our front row crew members had some things to say about DRM after an argument that had broken out in our forums a while ago about it.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Artist Alley.
Yes.
Yeah. The Artist Alley this year was pretty good. I mean...
I was very much impressed with the caliber of art in the Artist Alley itself. It seemed to be above average.
It was definitely above average. Also, the Artist Alley was really big, and the layout was really good, and people got a lot of table space, but there were some empty tables in the back corner. Now, I realized the Artist Alley did sell out when they first allowed signups, and because some people didn't pay or, copped out, it left empty tables that were not filled.
Yep, now the thing is there were quite a bit more cop-outs than usual, and my best guess is that, one, after the whole OMG, Otakon is banning fan art, LOL riot that happened, and then...
That might have had a small effect.
Yeah, well,
I don't think the news of that was that widespread.
It was, but the thing that I wanted to mention that about is that I noticed who was conspicuously absent from the Artist Alley this year. All those artists who just mass manufacture basically traced things or Naruto headbands are generally all the people who kind of suck.
Oh yeah, the Naruto headband manufacturers were not there.
Oh, no, there was a guy making them, but he wasn't making Naruto ones. He was making just weird, funny custom ones.
Ah. Uh-huh.
But there
the people who made, the hats, remember those people?
Yep.
They were in the dealer's room. They actually made a company. They moved on up.
Yeah.
So, there were a bunch of people absent. However, I do think that they, if you notice, the time when they announced that there were a bunch of cop-outs and openings was real close to the con. I think they should have had the deadline for paying up and, not copping out a little earlier to give people who, might have been on the waiting list more,
because
more
honestly,
of a chance.
We were offered, as Geeknights, a table in the Artist Alley just because we had a panel and we could use it for Geeknights. We decided early on that we didn't want it because we figured we didn't want to deny an artist a chance to be in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And then the artist alley sold out, so we felt very justified and smug in our altruistic decision.
Mm-hmm.
Then, right before the con, we find out, oh no, so there are artist alleys tables. And by then, it was totally too late for us to put together a Geeknights thing.
Yeah, it's like if the Artist Alley sells out, right, the freaking day you open it for signups, you should require that everyone cough up the money within a couple, maybe 3 to 4 weeks. And
Well,
if they haven't paid up by then, you got to clear them out and have a waiting list and all that good stuff.
It seems that Otakon generally is very, very forgiving of stupidity among its members.
Yeah, I mean, they stopped. Basically, what they do is instead of having like smart systems and forcing people into them, they just try to make it so simple that there's less you can be stupid with. They eliminated group memberships.
Which was a
and
great
discounts.
thing. Group memberships have caused nothing but problems at any con ever.
Yeah, but they only cause problems because of stupidity. So rather than force people to be smart or punish them for being dumb, they just eliminate your chance to be dumb,
Well, with the group discounts, it's not just that it screws stupid people. Smart people also screw Otakon. Because think about it. You just go in the forum, find 10 people who are all going to Otakon.
Yeah, that's a separate issue. But you see, I'm talking about the general, dealing with stupid people.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
policies.
it seems like Otakon will always put forth the maximum effort to help anyone.
Yep.
I mean,
which is good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, if I see a lot of cases where like one person screws up their registration, and the high-level staffers will personally track down what happened and then email the person back right away.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can say is that Otakon has some of the most dedicated and amazing staff of any convention I've ever been to.
Yep. I think it's a great policy to help anyone who has any amount of trouble. However, I do not think that you should... There's a line at which you say, okay, we can't give you any more personal help beyond this level because then it would be denying someone else of something, And, trying to give someone that extra excessive amount of time to pay for their Artist Alley is keeping someone else out of the alley, And you got to put a deadline and say that's it,
Yeah. I mean,
if you really want, set a deadline, and then the real deadline is a week later, to allow for the latecomers.
I think they do that too.
Yeah. But you get my point.
Yeah, I get your point. But despite that, I mean, the caliber of art was amazing. I was very impressed with a lot of the artists I saw. I took a whole bunch of business cards. I plan to commission several of the artists I met later on.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the one person I wanted to commission the most said that she doesn't take commissions.
How could you not take commissions?
It was the girl who had those that black metalwork stuff. I wanted
right.
I wanted a full-size Utena rose that I could put in my window.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the full, the black like silhouetted Utena rose.
Yep.
And she explained that she doesn't do commissions, and I didn't have a chance to, try to convince her otherwise. So maybe I'll try later.
Did you get her website or whatever?
I have her business card.
Yeah. The art show was also pretty cool.
Yes. See, I was worried because all the cons I've gone to this year so far had pretty mediocre art shows.
Or basically no art show to speak of.
Yeah, but even the ones that had an art show, there were a lot of those bootleg kind of, look, someone traced a cell. Oh, wow, you're such a talented artist.
Yeah, the art show at Otakon this year, they didn't fill up all of the space they had for it with art, which is, it makes the art show look smaller than it is because you have all these empty spaces, which is good because that way the art show can be as big as it needs to be. But it makes it feel small when it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, there was lots of awesome arts in there.
Yep. Of note, there were these Powerpuff Girls things that I bid on all of them and I was outbid.
There was a little Phoenix Wright in a frame that I bid on and lost.
There was a Kid Koopa being beaten up by all the other Koopa kids that was awesome, and I bid quite a bit of money, and yet I was outbid.
Yep.
But I bought the print. I'm very happy.
Yeah, speaking of that Kid Koopa print, there were 2 artists in the Artist Alley that were quite particularly awesome, and I want to give them the mad props, mostly because they drew sketches in the pirate book.
Oh, the pirate book. For anyone who isn't aware of our pirate book, this was Scott's idea, and he is its minder.
Mm-hmm. I got a blank sketchbook, and I'm going to take it to all the conventions, and at the conventions, I go to the cool artists, the particularly awesome ones, and I say, will you draw anything you want as long as it is piratey in some way in this book? And eventually this book will be full of piratey goodness. So far, I think most of our artsy friends have drawn something in it.
Have they? We forgot to ask almost everyone during the Week of Awesome.
A few of them did, and a few of them did not. it's not like we're not going to see them again.
Yeah, it's not hard to track down
if
the
they're
front
our
row crew.
if they're our friends, they're going to draw something in it. And if but the rest of the pages have. I think there's like 3 or 4 friends who still have to do it, and then from then on, it's all.
I got to say, the best thing in that book is still that bone beard.
Yeah. Okay. The bone beard was drawn by the guy who did your Kid Koopa. And he also did the print I bought from him, which was like Galactus versus
I forgot about that.
It's got Galactus, and then it has, the Katamari King of the Universe guy. And then it has the Silver Surfer and the little Katamari. It's sort of like this, oh ho ho ho.
It's very well done.
Yes, that guy's name, that awesome, awesome guy who drew Bonebeard the Ghost. I guess that's what we're calling him.
Well, he has a bone beard of little bones.
I know, it's so great. I'm going to scan it in and put it on the internet. His name is Brandon Kramer, and his website is brandokay.com, BRANDOKAY.com. And it's awesome. You can actually see the Kid Koopa and the Galactus and stuff on his website on some section on there. The other awesome person who was an awesome artist, I was in the art show, and there was this whole section full of these incredibly cute illustrations. It was just like, oh my God. Like every single one of them was like, oh my God. It's so cute, oh my God. And I looked
that for those of you who think Scott is just this horrible crotchety asshole, that is a side of Scott you rarely see.
And I was, I realized, hey, all of these are by the same person. Well, it's not hard to tell they were all by the same person, but they were awesome.
Just the way she draws her eyes just really sets her characters off.
Yeah. And it wasn't your typical anime art, and the quality was like 10 steps above just about everything else there. In terms of skill involved and everything, And I looked, and the name on all of it was Katie Osowiecki. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, and I'm sure she'll forgive us. But Osowiecki, Osowiecki, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if that person is here. Well, they must be here. So I went over to the Artist Alley info booth, and I said, does Katie Osowiecki have a table? And sure enough, she did. So I went to find her, and she was awesome, and she drew a little girl in the pirate book that goes, "Arr, I'm a pirate," and she has a little parrot and whatever.
It is quite high quality.
Yeah, I'll scan it and put it on the internet also. She is awesome. You can go to her website, which is KDO.KATIE.KUIKI.net. She also has a DeviantArt, which you can find if you just search for KDO.
Yep, also our friend Carla was in the Artist Alley. Our friend Kat was in the Artist Alley. Our friend Brian Carroll of Instant Classic was in the Artist Alley. Our friend Ido, who does Fallen, was in the Artist Alley, sharing a table with our good friend Nuri, who does Artist Alley, the podcast.
And she was selling her awesome dice jewelry.
Yes, she came up with this idea.
Making a killing selling dice jewelry.
At Animazement, and she started making dice jewelry. That's exactly what it is. Like a little earring with a D8 or a pen. Scott Johnson bought the best piece. It's a D30, just like on this bling chain.
It's basically a black rope with a D30 at the end of it.
It looks like such a 70s swinger thing.
It does. It's it's not really something you want to wear. I mean, maybe a D20 I would wear on a shorter rope.
I think the thing Scott Johnson bought is great.
It's great for him because he's got a giant hairy chest like a 70s swinger.
Well, the thing is, I think that is the perfect, because if you go to a club wearing like a 70s shirt with the top unbuttoned a bit and wearing that around your neck,
that'll be the awesome.
Because if any girl talks to you despite that, she is cool, guaranteed. Or
if a girl comes up and says she knows what it is, like, why do you have a D30 on your neck? Then that's the one.
See,
ones who's like, what's that? Those are not the ones.
Yep. Or why does that dice not have dots on it? Why does it have numbers?
Yeah.
Anyone who knows, die notation really, really, really is a cool person.
Mm-hmm.
But she was selling these things left and right. Good God.
Okay, so Artist Alley was awesome. I spent a lot of time there. And
As did I.
I didn't get tired of it. I just kept walking around finding new awesome things.
In fact, Sunday, after we'd completely lost our voices, we ran into a girl who was doing caricatures there. She works at some amusement park, and she's an anime fan, so I forget her name or I'd plug her. But she decided to do anime-type caricatures, and we didn't really get to talk to her so much, and I wanted to interview her, but neither one of us could actually talk. So we kind of stood there and gestured as she talked to us for a while.
Yep. So that was Artist Alley.
Yes.
In the video game room, we talked about that yesterday, so we're skipping over that.
Yep, if you want to hear our coverage of gaming at Otakon, check out yesterday's episode.
Okay, let's talk about the showings.
Now, the only thing I actually watched at Otakon was Osamu Tezuka's porno. It was, well, it's not really pornographic. It was in the over 18 showings, and many people call it a hentai, though it's more just an erotically charged animation.
Yes, it's called Belladonna, and it's not something that's easy to get or see.
In
And
fact,
I wish I would have known about it because I would have gone to it.
I watched a good 15 minutes of it and with Adam, Artboy, and it was really cool, and I really kind of want to see it in total. The problem was it was raw, and my knowledge of Japanese extends to saying...
Oh, it was raw?
It was raw.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Luckily, my knowledge of anime Japanese is good enough to where I kind of figured out what was going on and that there was a demon, and because they kept, you know when you're an anime fan, there's words you hear all the time, and I heard a lot of those words, so I could kind of figure out what was going on. And in terms of actual Japanese, the only thing I can understand at all is dogs and cats and saying what their names are or whether or not I own them. There were no dogs, but someone was something at some point.
Okay.
And someone said someone's name.
I watched 3 things at Otakon. They were all live-action Asian movies. The first one is Lady Terminator, which I saw 80% of. Lady Terminator is a bad movie.
She mates, and then she terminates.
That is the tagline. Basically, you have like this 80s chick just kind of walking around shooting people. And occasionally, she'll trick some guy into having sex with her. And basically, the guy just gets like this blood bukkake face and dies.
Blood bukkake.
I think there was some sort of snake in her snatch that bit the guys and caused the blood bukkake to happen. I'm not sure. But the movie is basically some detective guys, cops, running around trying to fight this 80s Terminator.
Yeah,
bitch.
whatever.
It was pretty lame. But right after it, I watched Art of the Devil 2. And you don't need to see Art of the Devil 1 to see Art of the Devil 2. Because Art of the Devil 2 is just sort of like this horror gross-out movie. And you know what? Compared to things like Ichi the Killer, it was tame. But compared to 99% of movies out there, this had some pretty gory scenes. The best among which was when one guy had a propane torch put to him while he was sedated with muscle relaxants, and all of his flesh was basically completely burned off, especially on his legs. And then the lady took a washcloth and basically wiped the flesh off his leg, and you saw bone and everything.
At this point, I think I was wandering around with Adam, somewhat intoxicated, interviewing people at the rave.
Yeah, and that's a good movie to go see if you're liking the ultra-violence and the gore. I mean, you know, the horror wasn't too
Well, from what I hear,
horrific.
that was really the best tasteless movie this year.
Yeah, I'm not really going to summarize the plot of it because the plot is just kind of whatever. But yeah, there were some gory scenes that were pleasant for if you like gore.
Yep.
And the last movie I saw was Sex and Fury. I didn't see the whole thing. Basically, I waited a while to see it because I had high expectations.
Now, meanwhile, it had been pushed back.
Yeah,
due
the
to a
time
scheduling
was
problem.
they changed the time on it.
So a good half of the crew was waiting for this movie, and I showed up. And once again, I was somewhat intoxicated because it was late at night, and yeah. So they're all waiting to watch this movie, and I come over, and I decide that it is not worth it. So I went back to the room to record what ended up being the webcomics roundtable instead.
Mm-hmm. Sex and Fury, I watched about maybe a half hour of it, and basically what it was sort of an old movie, which I thought it was a newer movie. I guess I was wrong. And it started out with the woman, and I don't remember anything until the major scene of the movie was basically this woman is completely naked, and she has a sword, and in slow motion she chops up a bunch of dudes, Kill Bill Volume 1 style. But not as many dudes as Kill Bill Volume 1.
88.
And her, yeah.
So she only got, what, like 86, 85?
More like 15, 20.
What?
Yeah. And there was blood and bouncing boobs everywhere. And then the movie basically consisted of some consensual sex, some non-consensual sex.
What's the deal with consensual sex in an ultra-violent movie?
And then lots of chopping people up in blood and a really lame political Yakuza plot that was
Yeah, see, the thing is,
whatever.
I hung out most of that night in the room with cool people recording a whole bunch of stuff. And now, right before this, Scott specifically had chided me when I said I wasn't going to watch this movie.
Because you didn't see any of the movies. You had to go see at least one ultra-violent
You know what?
movie.
I saw Belladonna.
That wasn't ultra-violent.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, the tradition isn't going so well because there haven't been so many worthwhile violent movies.
Yeah, hey, Otakon, listen up. You got to find the most violent and horrible movies you can and put them on Saturday night.
Yeah.
That's what it's your duty.
You realize if they follow the progression of trying to beat every year, they'll end up with snuff films.
Awesome.
And then what? There's nothing worse. There's nothing more than that.
They'll get a time machine and videotape the Holocaust and bring the tapes back to us.
That's really just a high production value snuff film.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but so all right, he yells at me, "Why are you going to not see this movie? This movie's going to be awesome."
The problem, I think, is that the descriptions in the Otakon con book, they conflicted slightly with IMDb in that they were much more positive, and now I see that everything in the Otakon con book is described in a positive light.
Yeah, so then I'm waiting in the room. You know, we're recording this. We're finishing up this one round table, and we're about to start another one when the Anime World Order people are going to arrive. And Scott and everyone return, and the words out of everyone's mouths are basically, "Wow, that was a waste of time. God damn, I could have been asleep."
Yep. Oh, well.
I seem to recall last year when I walked out of whatever the hell that violent movie was.
It
was
something
part
else.
2.
It's something else part 2.
And I remember that as I walked out, you said to me, "Where are you going, Rim? You're breaking the tradition." And then when you arrived at the room several hours later, your words were, "Wow, that was a waste of my life."
Yeah, you know what? It's my tradition that every year,
you know what?
if I'm going to have 3 days or 4 days of awesomeness, I got to waste 2 of those hours at least doing something stupid.
All right, Otakon, if you want to mess with Scott of Geeknights, all you have to do is show the worst crap you can find at midnight on Saturday, and he'll be there.
I will be.
Just show, I don't even know, some...
How else am I supposed to become an expert on this topic if
No,
I don't sit through at least some of this shit?
Good God.
Okay.
This is the test. Peter, what do you have to say to everyone out there about Otakon?
Slayer!
Now, at this point, we had actually recorded another good hour's worth of content. Well, actually, a good 45 minutes. And we realized that there's no way we can cover all of Otakon 2006 in only one episode. So rather than have a really lopsided distribution, we've cut it off now. And next Wednesday, on Anime Day, we will continue with the remainder of our coverage, which will include, among other things, a long, long discussion about panels at Otakon and our feelings on them, the concert, the rave, our hotel room and the crazy parties we had, the round tables and interviews we had, the assassination attempt that was undertaken by Anime World Order against Geeknights one fateful night, and finally the geek fable of our Sunday, which I don't really want to get into other than the fact that we have discovered that when both Scott and I lose our voices, social order around us breaks down quickly. So, of course, once again, you can listen to our panel that we recorded live at Otakon on Monday, this previous Monday. This previous Tuesday, yesterday, you could have heard all about video games at Otakon. Today is the first half of our coverage of Otakon. And tomorrow, a very important episode, we're going to talk about some interesting things that we did in Wildwood, New Jersey when we were bored, and we realized that we like hacking computers, so why not try to hack the boardwalk? And that was Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for our opening theme.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com. If you like our podcasts, you'll love our forums. Make sure you visit them. You can send your email feedback to geeknights@gmail.com. And if you want, you can leave us a voicemail at 206-333-1537.
Geek Nights airs every weeknight, Monday through Thursday.
Geeknights is recorded with absolutely no studio and no audience. But unlike those other talk shows, it's actually recorded at night.